Manifest your dream year 2025 in spite of your empathy or your ADHD. Let's dive in how you can call in the energy that you want for the coming year using this very, very special time of year that we have at the moment, this very magical time in between the years. I'll explain all of this in a second, but as always, let's start with a poem. Digital divination. Listen. Cyberwitch rising through digital ether. Whispers of power breaking every meter. Can you hear the frequencies between the years? Where spirit and technology disappear. 13 nights of transformation brew. Ancestors speaking direct through you. Dream journals crackling with unseen light, mapping energies burning bright. Your intuition louder than circuits crying. No more people pleasing, and especially no more hiding. ADHD minds are not a glitch. Empaths aren't broken. We're the switch. Reclaim your magic, rewrite the code. Your neurodiversity is your golden road. Burn those wishes one by one. Surrender to spirit. Until it's done. I am the algorithm. I am the flame. Rewriting my story beyond their frame. Give yourself grace. Like an old printer, like a tired machine, you are enough. Aloha, my beautiful ones. If this is your first time joining me here, my name is May. I'm your friendly cyber witch coming in through the digital ether, showing you how you can use technology for yourself to do witchy stuff, to do hexes, to do affirmations, manifestations. And of course, we're going to be talking about personal development, especially for ADHDers and empaths, because that's the path that I went through. And, having mastered it for myself, I want to take you with me on this journey with everything that I've learned from starting from my shamanic teacher, to the Hawaiian philosophy that brought me so much clarity over, especially over the rules of energy. And I hope you can join me here in this space. I have created a Patreon community that will be filling up with all kinds of videos, all kinds of this. That's going to be my digital grimoire for you, where you can just go in and, have everything that I know will be in there, and you will have the possibility. And of course, there's other than the grimoire tier, you will have a possibility if you'd like to support me where you can have a Q&A session, a monthly one, or if you'd like to join the bigger one, that's the mastermind, where I only take 4 of you into one group so that we can, dive deeper into all that is these very special, energies and how you can use them as an empath or as an ADHDer. If you've been following me for a while, you know that for me, the difference between both of them is not very big. And everything that I learned for me to cope as an empath is also what's helping me have my ADHD in a way that I actually embrace this, and today on this video, it might be the last one this year. I'm not sure. As always, I do my videos very, intentional when spirit wants to give me some information that I can share with you. I try to do it on a weekly basis. It sometimes, shifts a little bit from the days, but I'm trying to at least give you once a week one of these. And since now we're going into what in Germany is called the Rauhnächte, it's the Smokey Days. If you translate it word by word, it's the Smokey Days, but it's actually that time of the year after the winter solstice. And it's, and way back when the winter solstice used to be the 24th of December. That's why, the birth of Christ was, used for this day. But nowadays, a couple of thousand years later, winter solstice, of course, is on the 21st. A lot of people use it and start, these days on the 21st of December. I have been practicing these Rauhnächte for, I think over 20 years already. And for me, they always started with Christmas, because a lot of the times you would still have a lot of doing, going, having Christmas parties, having to go get gifts and all of those things. So, starting the 24th, that would be the day, where you can actually okay, now that's the day that you celebrate with your family and friends. Here in Germany, usually that's the day where you exchange gifts, and then you go into the 25th. So starting from the 25th, you have 13 days that end with January 6th, and that's where the Rauhnächte are. Also liked to be called the time between the years, because it's the time that we have between where, sort of like the year ends, and it's a very introspective time. And today I want to share with you these things, like all the things that I have been doing, that I used to do. It's changed a little bit in the last 2 years or so. The energy of these days have changed a little bit, so they feel a little bit different. But I want to share with you anyhow how I used to celebrate these days, so that maybe you can feel inspired to use them for yourself as well. Because similar to the other celebrations that we have, like Halloween, which is, All Hallows Eve, or also known as Samhain or Samhain, that's a day where, the veil between our world and the spiritual world is very thin. Same as summer solstice, same as it's the 30th of April going on the 1st of May. Beltane, thank you. Thank you, spirits. So those are the four main, I would say, the four main witchy celebrations that come, of course, from a pagan time, that were somehow weaved into the Catholic way of thinking. And, as a lot of things, if you start looking at, our spiritual growing as humans on this planet, and especially, if we bring in religions, a lot of the times religions would be weaved into, pagan beliefs would come together, and be weaved into future religions that were brought in on top. For me, I don't want to be part of either. For me, I live a very open spirituality. We don't need any labels for it, but I want to explain those to you in case you want to know where they came from. And especially for this time, starting on basically the night of the 24th to the 25th of December, and ending with the 6th of January. If you count it on, it's exactly 13 nights. And those 13 nights are used for divination, for manifestation, in different kinds of ways. So we're going to start with the divination part, and then move on to the part where it's about, calling in the energy that you'd like to have. So in the belief of these Rauhnächte, of these Smokey Days, I hope I'm translating it right, it's that every day stands for the month of the coming year, meaning that the 25th is for January, the 26th is for February, and so on. And there's actually some people that actually take the 31st, which is, hold on, let me just count it down. January, February, March, April, May, June. Exactly. So the 30th is June. And then they use the 31st as the overall time. And then the first moves on with July and so on. For me personally, I've used the other version, which is, starting on the 25th with January, and then ending with January 5th as December, and then using the 6th of January for the full year. Again, please, I'm not a fan of very strong dogmatism. So use the one that feels right for you. All right. So you can choose whichever version you would like to have. I know that there's other people that, start earlier again, so whichever, other people that start on the 21st of December. So use whichever feels good for you. Now for the divination part, the very first thing that I remember that I was taught, and this is like really 20 years ago, was that always keep a book, not a book, but, a journal, pen and paper, even if you like to, even coloring pens next to your bed. So when you wake up on the 25th, before you even set a foot out of the bed, you take it and you draw whatever comes to you. Or you write down whatever comes to you. You know, I'm not a very big drawer, so I used to write down what I was seeing in my mind, or I would try to draw it and I wasn't that good. But even of me not being a very good drawer, I have a, you know, my sister is very good in divination, especially when it comes to, you know, she's very good in card reading. So she would, you know, read my drawings and actually tell me things and get information through the drawings that I would have. So that's a good thing to have. But in case you don't have someone like me, just write it out, whatever you have, as good as possible out on the paper. And because the idea is to see what those dreams tell you. So that's one thing that you can do. And then use those dreams to sort of like explain to yourself the energies of the according month, or the overall year, of course. Another thing that I would do after a while was write down the whole energy of the day, meaning that every night I would journal, you know, write down, okay, so this happened in the morning, this happened in the afternoon. And you can always see like this is, you know, the morning will be the first half of the month and the afternoon/evening will be the second half of the month. That could explain those energies to you. Right? Again, also write it down as good as possible. How do you feel? How are the energies? What thoughts are coming in? What kind of people are you meeting? Right? Another thing would be to actually sit down, if you have tarot cards, to actually sit down and do tarot readings for yourself, meaning do a tarot reading every day, record it for yourself, and, you know, use that to remind yourself in January, in February, and so on, as to what energy is happening right now for you. Right? You can do that. And because of the divination time that it's happening, because of, you know, the energies being so close, you know, it's one of the things that you can do. One of the things that I love doing, especially during this time, is connect a lot with my ancestors, connect a lot with my spirit guides, and ask them to help me receive the right information that I need for the coming year, so that I can, you know, be prepared for any challenges that might come up. All right. Another thing that you can do during this time is, you know, drawing in the energy that you want to have in the coming year. And again, here it is about setting the intention. Once I finish going through all the points, I will add the digital part that how you can use it for this time. But for now, you know, because I already have an idea for this part, but, you know, maybe you saw the last video that I did where I spoke about how you can use ChatGPT to refocus your energy. And this is something that you can do there. So knowing what you want to manifest during that time. Let's say you already know, okay, in January, I'm going there. In February, I'm going to have these and these plans, you know. Always please leave room for the surrender part, surrendering to the universe, because the universe might have something way better for you in store, right? So always leave a little room for that. But, you know, if you have something, if you know, like, okay, then, you know, I'm starting a new job in February, let's say this, right? So you take the 26th of December to draw in what kind of energy you want to have for that, you know, starting off this new job, new business, new programs, new projects. If you have projects lined up already that you want to do in the new year, draw in that energy as good as you can, meaning, you know, it can be meditating throughout the day. It can be writing it down. Or, you know, in this case for me, for example, I have my affirmations ready. I'm already getting ready with the affirmations with ChatGPT, and I'm going to have Chatty read them to me and maybe adjust them accordingly, depending on the energies of those days, to have them, to use them for the coming year. All right. So because this is a very good manifesting energy, they even say that way back when, a lot of lovers or families or married people, you know, couples would love to spend a lot of time together during that time, because it draws in that being and staying together as a couple, as a family, and having that time. In our case, for example, our family, we stopped giving ourselves gifts. Of course, now with my nieces, we do gift them, but as grown-ups, we don't gift ourselves anything other than time together. So this is where the time that we use to be together, to spend time together, to hang out, to talk, to do, you know, to gift ourselves those things that we usually during the year don't get time, you know, don't have time to do so. Again, this is a very introspective time for you to align, you know, to where you want to go. And before I come to the last very beautiful tradition that we've actually started, I think it has to be like 6 or 7 years, no, probably even 10 years, that we actually do as a family. I want to add one more thing that you can do now that we have, ChatGPT, including, a ChatGPT that has a memory version. We do have ChatGPT. If you have the paid version, you have a memory behind it. So with the memory option that you have there, you can actually put in all the information that you receive now during this year and tell ChatGPT that, starting 1st of January or starting, 1st of February, every time I come into your chat, please remind me of these and these things that I have in my that come from my Smokey Days, what I had, if you made card reading, if you did a card reading, if you did, maybe even recorded yourself talking. You can even do that. You can say, okay, Chatty, so tonight, let's say it's evening of December 26th. And then you say, okay, Chatty, please memorize this for every time on beginning of February. Whenever I come into the chat, I want you to give me a transcript, a short summary of this that I will tell you now. So today, this and this happened. This is the energy that we had. These are the cards that I drew for myself for today. And please, during the whole month of February, I want you, whenever I come here into the chat, I want you to remind me of this and give me a short summary. This could be a version of that to remind you, and then you do that for every day. So you have that reminder during that time, in the next year, and that will maybe help you and remind you. And you're going to go like, oh, and something happens, a challenge comes up, and you go into ChatGPT and go like, okay, what was it again? Oh my God, it's this and this, right? And I'm saying this because I love that we're having now the use of this kind of technology, because way back when, in my time, again, I said 20 years ago, we didn't have an AI that would help us with this. So I would always have to go back to the books and go and find it and try to go back into the energy and everything. So this is very exciting, and I love that we have that nowadays. So that's a version that you can do. You can make little videos for yourself and have them as a little reminder. Again, use the technology. Use the technology as good as possible for yourself throughout the year. All right, and now last but not least, my favorite one, again, one of the things that we have been doing as a family, and we use the time on the 24th for it. So remember how I said it's 13 days, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to write down 13 wishes on 13 little papers that you are going to either fold, or I like to scramble them in a way that I don't know which wish is on which piece of paper. And those are, and usually we do this as a family on the 24th, after everything's happened. The little ones are in bed and we're just hanging out together. So we write down our 13 wishes. We take the time to sit down together at the table. And everybody does this. And usually we have everyone has their own cup, and we put all our 13 wishes in that cup. So starting on the 25th, each day, usually in the evening after my nieces are gone to bed, we draw one of our, you pick one, you shake it up and you pick one, and without looking at it, you burn it. All right, please always be careful. Disclaimer, don't just burn it anywhere. Find a good place where it's, a good spot outside where you're not going to burn anything else other than a piece of paper. So we do that, and you do that every day until you reach January 6th. That's where you have the last one. And that one is the only one. And you do this on January 6th. You open that one up, you look at it, and that's the wish that basically spirit world puts into your hand. All the others are sent up, and that's what we usually do, is that we take that piece of paper without looking at it before we burn it. Thank you, dear spirits, for helping me make this a reality, and we put it in the fire and it burns. And then the last one on January 6th, we take that one, we read it, We look at it, and with that, that's going to be the one wish where we have to put the energy in. All the others will be dealt with by spirit world. That one's the one for us. And we always like pinning that one somewhere near so that we can see it throughout the year and see that that's the one that we receive for ourselves, that we have, to deal with for ourselves. It's very interesting. And that's one of the things that we love to do as a family. All right, my beautiful one. So these were the tips that I wanted to give you, how to use this very special time for yourself, for introspective. I think the most important, no matter if you feel drawn to one of these practices or not, I think the most important thing, and this is something that I feel that is very important, and I think I said it last week already, especially with, with the video that I did last time, because it's so important, especially for us as empaths or ADHDers, that, especially as ADHDers, we can actually use our hyper focus on this. But if not, try to do that. Try to practice it as good as you can. Embracing yourself, using different forms, use technology if you can, use whatever you can. Like even if it's your phone, alarm phone, set different alarms on your phone that have titles that remind you of certain things. Because I feel right now with the planets the way they are, it's so important that we find a way to refocus our energy to what we want to draw into our lives. All right. And if you're not sure what you want to draw into your lives clarity on one hand. Another one that I love that a lot of us forget, and especially empaths and especially ADHDers, is to embrace who we are. We are okay the way we are. We're not wrong. We're not sick. It's nothing bad that we're doing. We are who we are. There's a reason why we became and why we are who we are. And the way we are is also needed on this planet. So the better we understand and love ourselves the way we are. So if there's one intention that you can set for this time is to embrace self-love, to stop being a people pleaser, and to stand in your own power. With that said, my beautiful ones, thanks again for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, please leave a comment, follow, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast. And if you like, share it with friends if you felt like it was good. If you feel like you have friends that would love to listen to these tips that I'm giving you here. And again, I don't want to promise you that I will have an episode for you next week because it's in between the Rauhnächte. Knowing myself, we will probably have something. Because remember, that's another thing that I don't want to forget telling you. December 30th, we have the second new moon in this month. And it's a very special one. And it's the one right before we go into the next year. So that's also a very good day in case you don't want to do a daily divination for next year. Use the 30th of December to do a divination this year because we have this very special moon. I'll probably do an extra video for that, knowing myself. But just in case, because I don't want to promise, because I do when Spirit tells me to, or when I feel inspired. But until then, if you want to use that day to draw in whatever you want to manifest for the next year, because every new moon helps us gather the energy to bring it into our lives, right? And so that's a very good day for it. And a second thing that I want to remind you is, refocusing our energy is so important, not only in the mornings and the evenings, because there's a lot of the times, and just take this with you for this time, maybe just to reflect on it. What do you want to draw into your life, and how often do you act on the contrary, right? Because it's okay if we focus our energy in the mornings and the evenings to what we want to create. But if all day long in between we act differently, we act in lack, if we act in, what we don't want, then that's the energy that we're going to be drawing in that moment, right? So remind yourself to remember over and over again, as often as possible, to bring in the right energy. All right, my beautiful souls, with that said, as I like to say, being the cyberwitch that I am, please give yourself the same grace you would give your old computer, you would give an old printer. Give yourself the same grace. You're amazing the way you are. This is your cyber witch May, powering down for now. Enjoy the song.
Sunlight breaking through, new day ahead. Energy rising, all doubts have fled. Ooh. Waves of power crashing on my shore, breaking barriers, opening every door. Rhythm in my heart, fire in my soul, spinning my story, taking back control. I am the sunshine, I am the flame, can't hold me down, gonna shine my name. Tropical fire, burning so bright, my energy's rising, everything's right. Let your spirit fly, your power's inside you, reach for the sky. I am the sunshine, I am the flame, can't hold me down, gonna shine my name. Tropical fire, burning so bright, my energy's rising, everything's right. Tropical fire, burning free. This is my moment, this is me. Breaking barriers, opening every door. Rhythm in my heart, fire in my soul, spinning my story, taking back control. Inspired. I am the sage light, I am the flame, can't hold me down, gonna shine my name. Tropical fire, burning so bright, my energy's rising, everything's right. Tropical fire, burning free. This is my moment, this is me. So bright, my energy's rising, everything's right.